Got some incredible news coming out about Social Security over the past few days, and in this video we're going to talk about one-time $1,400 stimulus checks for seniors on Social Security and how that may be more possible than ever because of what President Biden just said and did. And these stimulus checks couldn't come at a better time as inflation is still high and seniors are struggling to pay for rent, utilities, and food. Seniors are also struggling due to the mistake from the Social Security Administration giving out the overpayments, and seniors cannot pay them back. And there is a big battle going on in Congress right now when it comes to Social Security. If we take a look at this headline, Mike Johnson, which is the Speaker of the House, embraces deficit fight, setting up battle over Medicare and Social Security. Now, when it comes to those $1,400 checks, they could come as soon as this fall because of what President Biden just did and said, and I'll share with you exactly what is going on with that, let you know the battle between Medicare and Social Security, how that's going on in Congress, and give you some other really important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these regular Social Security updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates on increases, decreases, bills, and proposals. And this video is sponsored by my company, WiseCent. If you or anyone you know is looking to increase your credit score, remove negative items from your credit report, got my contact information down in the description below. All right, let's get into it here. The Senior Citizens League proposes $1,400 stimulus for seniors. Now, this couldn't come at a better time as inflation is raging and we're hearing there could be talks of a recession. As Bond King Bill Gross says, the U.S. economy headed for a recession as more indicators flash in the fourth quarter. So I feel like we've been hearing this for a while, that the U.S. economy is headed for a recession. It's definitely not in a good state when it comes to the economy. So a $1,400 check could definitely help out seniors. Now, this would only be for seniors who are collecting Social Security. I'll go over more over that in a moment, as more seniors are struggling, as Social Security recipients struggle to pay back agency after unexpected overpayments. Now, when it comes to those overpayments, it's billions of dollars that could have gone out to Social Security recipients in a positive way, but instead, the Social Security Administration has a balance of more than $20 billion in overpayments that they gave out to Social Security recipients. That $20 billion, if used properly, could have gone out to these recipients and help them out, as people on Social Security need more help as it is right now, especially since they've dedicated hours and decades of their life to contributing to this economy to make it as good as it is now. And unfortunately, that promise has not been kept. So many Congress members are calling for increases to all Social Security recipients across the board. Now, the battle in Congress when it comes to Social Security is raging now more than ever, as Mike Johnson, the newly elected Speaker of the House, embraces deficit fight, setting up a battle over Medicare and Social Security. So I'll let you know what's going on here. Democrats and progressive advocacy groups are homing in on Speaker Mike Johnson past support for steep cuts to entitlements as the new speaker embraces a deficit commission that could spotlight the issue in the run-up to the 2024 election. President Biden has called out Republicans during his State of the Union address for wanting to cut the program, while budget experts say Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security are unsustainable in their current form. Most Republicans acknowledge the political risks of wanting to shrink benefits, but are also opposed to tax increases to bolster the programs. So Mike Johnson's fervent support for trillions of dollars in cuts during his time as chairman of the Republican Study Commission could be a blueprint for GOP budgets if they win control of the government. So here's what Mike Johnson just said here. The greatest threat to our national security is our nation's debt. We know this is not going to be an easy task and tough decisions will have to be made, but consequences if we don't act now are unbearable. Johnson promised to establish a bipartisan debt commission immediately and indicated at a press conference this past week that he was close to naming members. The idea for a 16-member debt commission would examine Social Security and Medicare solvency was initially floated by Speaker Kevin McCarthy as part of the debt limit negotiations. Entitlements have long been a political third rail, but some in the GOP want to use debt ceiling negotiations to extract promises to reduce entitlement spending. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid currently make up nearly half of the entire federal budget with a total annual price tag of $2.7 trillion. So the Commission's recommendations would be to receive priority consideration by Congress, but they would be scheduled for a final vote during the lame duck session immediately after the 2024 election, putting a maximum distance between representatives and voters. McCarthy's proposal was slammed by the White House, though it was eventually included in a stopgap government funding bill introduced in September. The bill would have reduced discretionary spending for most domestic programs by nearly 30%. So what was also said here, on top of breaking their promise to the country about keeping the government open, the House GOP is now threatening to single-handedly shut the government down unless they can jam a death panel for Medicare and Social Security down the country's throat. This is what the White House spokesman said, Andrew Bates. So when it comes to what's going on with Social Security, well, it looks like the battle is still going on, and the 2024 election may affect a lot of things, as the commission set up to examine Social Security and Medicare may be delayed for now, so we may not see the effects of that until after the 2024 election. But what about those stimulus checks I was mentioning before? So SSI payment schedule, benefits, and possibility of a fourth stimulus check. Now, these checks would just be for Social Security recipients. Let me go over the exact math and exactly what President Biden just said and did. So if we look at this, if you haven't heard, a bill has just passed in the House. House passes $14.3 billion in Israel aid, setting up a showdown with the Senate. So this bill has passed in the House, $14.3 billion. Hasn't passed in the Senate yet, but when it comes to, if it does actually pass in the Senate, which isn't likely because Democrats aren't for this bill, but what would happen is Biden vows to veto $14.5 billion aid package for Israel because of devastating implications for U.S. safety and alliances. So if the bill even does pass the Senate, President Biden is going to veto the $14.5 billion package. Now, when it comes to this money, $14.5 billion and money going towards Ukraine, could that money be used to help out Americans, struggling seniors Americans on Social Security in our country, in the United States of America? Because if that $14.5 billion gets vetoed, which most likely it will, President Biden had a bigger plan, actually. President Biden drafts a $100 billion foreign aid package, including money for Israel and Ukraine. So President Biden wanted the $100 billion to go towards Israel and Ukraine. Could the $100 billion, instead of going for foreign aid, be used to help out Americans in America who are struggling with the current economy, struggling to pay for rent, food, utilities, struggling with a lot of different things? Well, how much, how much could $100 billion do if it was given to Americans, especially our most vulnerable in our society? Well, if we do the math right here, you could see that let's just say the 66 million people on Social Security right now, if they were to receive a $1,400 check, as I mentioned earlier, well, it would cost $92 billion and $400 million. So well under $100 billion. It would cost $92 billion to give everyone on Social Security a $1,400 one-time stimulus check. So my question to you is this: is a $1,400 stimulus check to seniors more important than $100 billion going across the seas to different countries to help out with other people's problems? Let us know down in the comments below. What would you want? The money to be used to help out Americans, or the money to be used to help out other countries? It's almost like we just have like $100 billion on hand, but how can that $100 billion be used? Let me know down in the comments below. So when it comes to a $1,400 stimulus check going out to senior citizens, there's a choice to be made: $100 billion overseas, or $100 billion to seniors on Social Security, or maybe not just people on Social Security, could be distributed evenly to other people who are struggling as well. Let me know your thoughts on that, and that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something what you should always do. So when you want to do something, do it. Like if you want to go out in outer space, do it. If you want to say something, do it. Say whatever you want and do whatever you want. And make it excitement. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. If you want to see the latest bad news about Social Security and how Social Security checks may be negatively impacted, I'm going to let you know the latest updates in this video right here. So click that video if you want to see the latest bad news for Social Security that may affect your check. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.